Alrighty, hello everybody. So just kicking this stream off real quick here. I've got a very small Sunny update, but I think it's really neat. But using Godot, I was able to rig up this really cool Sunny puppet. And so I'll be able to use this, and actually let me reset it to its rest pose. I'll be able to use this for, my main plan is to use it for the intro animation on the title screen, as well as, actually let me see if I can hide all the bones on this, so you can see her very clearly. I've got a filter on her as well. It makes her a little more pixelated, makes her chunkier, which is really nice. And I can kind of alter that to my pleasure. And then, let's see, what did I want to show off? I just want to show off. I just think this is really cool. I could take any one of these bones and mess around with them. So I could take like body here and like rotate it around, and she bends and morphs around to fit that, and move her head around like this. And you know, this is all really standard, exactly what you would expect for like rigging animation, but it's like, I think it's cool, and I learned a good bit how it works in Godot, and so I'll be able to plan it out and use it better in the future too. Especially because I was looking into like all the animation fading and cross-fading type stuff that they do, and they do some pretty advanced ones, so I can make a lot of use out of that as far as making different types of animations, cross-fading, like different types of expressions with different types of gestures and stuff like that, and it'll make it good for like character portraits during cutscenes and stuff. And I'm just gonna show real quick the little intro animation I made of her. If it still works properly, I don't know if anything's changed since then. That's the last time I loaded this up. There we go. Pretty neat, huh? I like it. So that is the Sunny update for this Friday. Now, let's move over to the main event. Let me actually move myself down here a bit. To the main event. So, tonight, instead of doing like the kind of regular square debates we've been doing before, we're going to have what's called the mass debate, where all the losers from the previous debates, except for, what was her name? Manny Eaton, because she's like literally died. She's just literally completely died. I'm gonna retcon it to where they didn't all actually die when they were oh, there we go. When they lost the debate, that was just like a big spectacle or something, and so oh, let's start from here. And so they've actually all been taken to a battle royale type situation scenario in like a 20-mile radius where they all have to fight each other, and the last one surviving gets reintroduced back into the debate. So let's begin from the top here. It's about 1 week ago. It's time for the mass debate. This is the opportunity for the losers from the previous debates to claw their way back into the race. The mass debate is a several-day-long event in which the losers from the previous debates are trapped in a 20-mile radius and must fight each other to the death until only one remains. There are 5 zones in the radius: the forest zone in the center, the winter zone up north, the jungle zone to the east, the desert zone to the west, and the rust zone to the south. The forest zone has a building-sized cornucopia filled with supplies, ammo, and weapons, but is also rigged with traps. The winter zone contains an enormous mountain that can be scaled, the jungle zone has a volcano, the desert zone has a complex mine system that runs through it, and the rust zone is nothing but old and rusted buildings, vehicles, giant spinning fans, and horrifying flesh monsters. The playing candidates will start in a circle surrounding the central cornucopia. Every player has a bomb necklace that will explode if they leave the 20-mile radius. The collar also has a heart monitor, so it's always known if the player is still alive. And so then I tell ChatGPT kind of the general rules I want to go with this, and I reintroduced it to all the characters because it seems to kind of forgotten them all from their last introduction into the debate. So every day, I'm gonna go through this kind of scenario day by day, one by one, with a sort of random event to kick each day off. And ChatGPT here is going to sort of read out how each person attempts to navigate their way through the scenario. So let's begin. It's the first day. No special event will be kicking off the day. Now, how about this? It's the first day. All the players are in a circle around the cornucopia. A timer is dramatically ticking down, and when it finally reaches 0, I can do this. Does that make it pick me up better? And when it finally reaches 0, the mass debate has begun. And the players, they move as they please. How about me do as they please? After a suspensefully, how do you spell suspense? After a suspenseful moment, the timer finally reaches 0. My God. You know what? I actually probably should have gone over who all our players are gonna be in this, so that way it's excuse me. That way it's clear what we've all got going on. Setting. Here we go. So, in the mass debate, in this battle royale. Ah, jeez, let me move this. Our losers from the previous debates are Barbutia Lafranc, who is a very smelly, family-oriented, serious woman who is secretly French. Shemp Barksley, who is a dog in a suit that is operated by a man, and he is also very smelly. Actually, not Tabitha Langley. She has seemed to have mysteriously disappeared. Arthur Van Boozler, who is a clown, has a big nose. He's very silly, but he's also very frowny. He frowns a lot. Martha Teeny, who is a woman that is pro-nudism. She is a smoker and an alcoholic. Not Manny Eaton. Manny Eaton is unfortunately actually dead. Sanford Scotch, who is a big, hairy, just a big, hairy fella, who is secretly a furry. Lester Truth, who is a nerdy, scrawny little fellow with big glasses and big ears. He is a flat earther. Puggy, who is a giant pug wearing a suit. Wrinkly Dick, who consults with the spirits of the damned. Cynthia Shines, who has made a pact with the devil. And Gamer Johansson, who is a large, dumb, sort of baby-shaped man. These will be our members of the mass debate. So, let's get this started. Here's our elimination zone. Hold on. Let me set this back to... There we go. As the timer hits 0, the blaring horn signals the start of the mass debate. The circle of players surrounding the central cornucopia hesitates for a split second, each assessing their odds and the dangers of rushing into the fray. The cornucopia is filled with supplies, weapons, armor, food, and medicine, but it is also littered with traps ready to claim the lives of the careless. First moments. Arthur Bamboozler sprints towards the cornucopia with a manic grin, hoping to grab whatever supplies he can. He cackles as he dodges a swinging blade trap by sheer luck, but when he reaches for a bag of supplies, a pit trap opens beneath him. He flails his long arms and clings to the edge, managing to pull himself up just in time. What a bamboozle, he mutters, stumbling back to safety with a single knife in hand. Martha Teeny lunges forward next, her glossy body shimmering in the morning light. She quickly spots a pack of beer right... They just put beer in it. Right at the edge of the cornucopia. Desperate for alcohol, she swipes it up without even looking at the surrounding danger. She cracks one open and downs it before sprinting off towards the rust zone for cover. Oh, that's the, no, yeah, I did go over the zones briefly. Oh yeah, that was, 2 other people I forgot to mention. So, actually a couple other people. So there's the Dark Jork, which is just Tabitha Langley, but she's dark and mysterious and shadowy now. And there's also Popcorn Thompson from the previous debates, and Cheeto Charlie, who is the dark god of the Hoopies. The Dark Jork lurks in the shadows at the edge of the force zone. She adjusts her glasses, scanning the chaos with a calculating gaze. Jorking it later, she mumbles, too distracted by the various devices and gadgets in the cornucopia. She sneaks in and grabs a small toolkit and a few mysterious devices before retreating back into the jungle. Wrinkly Dick, sensing a presence of dark spirits around him, pauses and consults with the damned. "Spirits, guide me to victory," he mutters. A ghostly hand points towards a concealed weapon, a silver dagger. He grabs it and backs away cautiously, heading towards the desert zone. Sanford Scotch, the massive hairy man, watches as several others rush into the cornucopia. He hangs back, not wanting to engage immediately, and heads straight for the force zone. "Too many eyes here. I need a place to hide and plan," he grunts, clutching a small dagger he picked up from the discarded pack. Gamer Johansson waddles forward, a big dumb smile plastered on his face. He heads straight for the gaming gear set up in the center. "Oh sweet, a gaming rig." He snatches up a keyboard and headphones, oblivious to the fact that they are useless in this arena. He doesn't even notice as a dart trap fires off, narrowly missing his head. Cynthia Shine stands still, head tilted, as if listening to something only she can hear. The new demon she's made a pact with whispers directions to her. She strides confidently into the cornucopia, snatching a bow and a quiver of arrows. She hisses a quick curse at Puggy, who gets in her way, then disappears into the forest. Puggy, wheezing and hacking up a pug egg, scoops up a pistol from the ground and scurries off to the rust zone, her cigar still clutched between her lips. Shemp Barksley, or rather the man puppeting him, grabs a rope and some water bottles before running off towards the winter zone. "We gotta keep cool and stay alive," the puppeteer mutters, using Shemp as a decoy. Barbutia LaFranc charges into the cornucopia, taking advantage of her serious demeanor to intimidate other players. She grabs a spear and a large backpack filled with rations before making her way into the jungle zone, grumbling in French under her breath. Popcorn Thompson trembles, his butter-slicked face glistening with sweat. He darts in, grabs a handful of snacks, and runs away towards the rust zone, terrified of running into Cheeto Charlie. Cheeto Charlie, barely holding his form together, oozes into the cornucopia. His cheesy fingers snatch a handful of explosives. "Time to show them the power of the Hoopies," he cackles, moving towards the jungle zone. Lester Truth, the tiny nerd, watches all the chaos unfold. "Idiots," he mutters, clutching a survival guide he managed to grab. He slips into the desert zone, planning to outsmart everyone else with his cunning intellect. Notable death. Just as the chaos seems to calm down, a loud snap echoes through the air. Martha Teeny, too distracted by her alcohol, stumbles into a wire trap set around the cornucopia. The wire tightens around her leg, dragging her into a pit filled with spikes. Her scream is cut short, leaving the remaining players with a chilling realization. The game has only just begun, and it is merciless. End of day 1. As night falls, the players find temporary shelters in their chosen zones. The scoreboard updates for the first time with a loud announcement echoing across the arena. First blood, Martha Teeny has been eliminated. The remaining candidates brace themselves for the horrors of the next day. The mass debate has begun, and no one is safe. Ah, man, I wasn't expecting Martha Teeny to die. I can't say I was really rightly expecting anyone to die. At least not on the first day. So that's... Whoop. So that's it for Martha Teeny. Oh, what a tragedy. So, then each day I'm going to spin a wheel, and whatever event happens when said wheel will occur before the next day begins. Or during the next day. So, first item on the wheel. Oh, alright. Beacons. It is now the start of the second day. Everyone is awoken by a bright light shining on them. Beacons are being cast down onto the locations of players, as well as valuable items in the environment. Beacons will not update after they have been cast, and so remain where they originated. Now let's let it type all that out. Oh boy, it's got a lot to say. Alright, let's go over all this. As dawn breaks over the mass debate arena, the sun's light is joined by a series of brilliant beacons cascading from the sky. Each beacon casts a bright spotlight over specific points in the various zones, illuminating both players, locations, and several valuable items scattered throughout the environment. The beacons are static, indicating to everyone where their rivals are hiding and where the most useful supplies can be found. The trap has been set. This is an invitation for conflict. Immediate reactions. Arthur Bamboozler wakes up with a start, his huge nose twitching in the new light. He finds himself lit up by a beacon. Oh great, a spotlight, just what a clown needs, he grumbles, and quickly gathers his meager supplies. Instead of running, he decides to make himself look pitiful and silly, hoping to trick any approaching threats. Wrinkly Dick, now visible in the desert zone, mutters curses under his breath. The spirits can't hide me from this light, he growls. He decides to press deeper into the mines of the desert zone, using the narrow tunnels to shield himself from prying eyes. Cynthia Shines, resting in the forest zone, notices the light and snarls. Her demon whispers in her ear, urging her to move towards one of the supply beacons in the jungle zone. She grabs her bow and arrows and sets off, determined to secure new tools of destruction. Gamer Johansson stirs in the rust zone, bathed in a golden light. He rubs his eyes, grinning stupidly at the beacon. Is this a gaming event? Did I just unlock a legendary drop? He wonders aloud. He starts waddling toward a nearby supply beacon that marks a stash of food. The dark Jork peers out from the shadows in the jungle, completely caught off guard by the beacon. Curse this light, she mutters, despite her disdain for being exposed. Her eyes gleam with excitement when she spots a beacon over a cache of experimental gadgets near the volcano. She slinks toward it, intent on grabbing the high-tech supplies. Barbutia Lafranc sees a beacon highlighting her position in the jungle zone and snarls, "Merde!" She bolts towards the volcano, intending to lay an ambush for anyone going for the experimental gadgets marked by another beacon nearby. Shemp Barksley and the puppeteer see their beacon in the winter zone. The puppeteer decides to use the exposed position to set traps, using Shemp as a decoy. "Just a harmless chihuahua," the puppeteer whispers, tying a tripwire around some nearby rocks. Lester Truth, now exposed in the desert zone, scans the horizon with his glasses. "Knowledge is power," he mutters. He starts heading towards a beacon indicating a stash of survival equipment, deeper in the desert. He knows he needs more supplies if he's to survive. Sanford Scotch finds himself under a beacon in the forest zone. "Well, that's just great," he groans. He opts to head towards the mountain in the winter zone, hoping the cold and elevation will keep pursuers away. Puggy, nestled among the rusting vehicles of the rust zone, notices her beacon and the beacon over a pile of cigars and cigarettes. Her pug side salivates at the sight. She hacks up a pug egg and sets it as a trap before heading to the beacon, her mind set on grabbing the smokes. Popcorn Thompson spots a beacon near him, indicating a stash of buttered popcorn supplies. He grins, licking his buttery lips, and scurries over to grab the stash. He needs to stay well lubricated if he's going to survive this. Cheeto Charlie, weakened but still menacing, sees his own beacon and one over a hidden stash of explosive Cheetos deep in the jungle. "Perfect," he rasps. He slinks towards the jungle zone, ready to reclaim some of his former power. Notable events of Day 2, the Forest Zone ambush. As players converge towards the Forest Zone's cornucopia to restock supplies, Arthur Bamboozler decides to lay a trap with his knife and a few tripwires. He's scrounged from the cornucopia. Sanford Scotch, moving toward the winter zone, stumbles into it. His heavy frame snaps a tripwire, causing a swinging log trap to come smashing into his gut. He's winded but survives, crawling away with deep bruises. The Rust Zone conflict. Puggy arrives at the beacon stash and greedily scoops up cigars, lighting one instantly. However, Gamer Johansson shows up moments later, drawn by the smell of food. He sees Puggy puffing away and lunges for the stash of snacks. The two engage in a tussle, but Puggy manages to hack up a pug egg right into Gamer's face. Blinded and grossed out, Gamer stumbles away, leaving Puggy victorious, for now. The Volcano Showdown. Barbutia Lafranc and the Dark Jork arrive at the beacon near the volcano at the same time. They lock eyes in the shadow of the volcano, each recognizing the other as a threat. The Dark Jork pulls out a prototype laser she found in the gadget stash, but it malfunctions. Barbutia charges her, spear in hand. The two grapple at the edge of the cliff, trading blows. At the last moment, Barbutia gets the upper hand and shoves Jork back. The Dark Jork falls but manages to grab a ledge, hanging on for dear life. Jungle Mayhem. Cynthia Shines encounters Cheeto Charlie near the stash of explosive Cheetos. Cynthia's demon warns her of Charlie's dark powers. They circle each other, but before a fight can break out, Popcorn Thompson stumbles upon them, seeing his worst fear. Popcorn lets out a scream and runs, tripping and dropping his butter stash. Cheeto Charlie laughs, snatching up the butter. Cynthia uses the distraction to grab an explosive Cheeto and hurls it at Charlie. It explodes, sending him flying back into the jungle. He's not dead, but he's severely injured. Nightfall. As darkness falls, the second day's scoreboard is updated. No eliminations today, but the players have been bloodied. This is only the beginning. The players retreat to their hiding spots, licking their wounds and plotting their next moves. The beacons have forced them out of hiding, setting the stage for more bloodshed as the mass debate continues. Alright, give me a moment to get a drink here real quick. Alrighty. So what is that? That's day 2? Alright, Start of the third day. It's the start of the third day. The beacons have all disappeared. And actually, let me spin the random event. Today's random event is... oh boy, Trap Fiesta. A Trap Fiesta has been activated. New and more vicious traps have sprung up all over the battlefield. Just about everything and anything are trapped now. The third day dawns. Oh, jeez. Alright, finish up what you're doing. Oh god, we got some deaths. The third day dawns with an eerie stillness as the beacons fade away. The contestants, warned from the previous day's skirmishes, sense something is wrong. Suddenly, an announcement blares hit from the hidden speakers across the arena. Good morning, participants. Today marks the beginning of our Trap Fiesta. The entire battlefield is now littered with new and more devious traps. Tread carefully and you'll find yourself facing sudden and often painful surprises. May the luckiest survive. The contestants tense up, now hyper-aware of every step they take. The jungle, desert, forest, winter, and rust zones have all transformed into deadly gauntlets, full of concealed snares, pitfalls, and other lethal mechanisms. The forest zone. The dark Jork, still nursing injuries from her confrontation with Barbusha, creeps through the dense forest. Suddenly, she hears a faint click. The ground beneath her collapses, revealing a pit filled with sharpened stakes. However, Jork is quick. She pulls out a grappling hook from her gadget stash and swings across the pit, narrowly avoiding a painful death. As she lands on the other side, she almost falls into a net trap. Realizing the traps are set close together, she decides to set up a makeshift lab near the edge of the forest zone, where she can begin jorking it to focus and come up with countermeasures against the arena's lethal new additions. Desert zone. Wrinkly Dick inches his way through the mines, spirits whispering warnings in his ear. Suddenly he spots a gleaming object, an old sword half buried in the sand. He hesitates, the spirits shrieking in alarm. Trusting their guidance, he avoids it. Seconds later, a boulder drops from the ceiling, smashing the sword and triggering a chain reaction of collapsing tunnels. Lester Truth, watching from a distance, is impressed by Dick's survival skills. He tries to follow in his footsteps, but his foot catches a hidden tripwire. A set of spikes shoots out from the wall. The nerd barely ducks in time, losing his glasses in the process. Blinded, he gropes his way through the tunnels, using his smarts to navigate without vision. In the Rust Zone is now a death trap maze of crumbling structures and old vehicles rigged with explosives. Puggy, puffing her cigar, stumbles across a seemingly harmless pile of scrap metal. She sniffs it suspiciously and decides to leave it alone. Moments later, Gamer Johansson waddles into the same area. Blissfully ignorant to the dangers, he kicks the pile, triggering an explosion. He's thrown back, the force knocking him into a rusty truck. Miraculously, he survives, the truck absorbing most of the shrapnel. He dusts himself off, confused but unharmed. Puggy watches from a safe distance, chuckling. Meanwhile, Popcorn Thompson, terrified of the newly trapped terrain, accidentally sets off a series of bear traps while trying to hide it in an abandoned bus. His screams echo through the zone as he narrowly avoids getting his leg caught. His popcorn coating, now sticky with sweat, has glued a piece of scrap metal to his back, making him look like a walking junk monster. In the Winter Zone, up in the icy reaches of the Winter Zone, Shemp Barksley, the Chihuahua, and his puppeteer find themselves surrounded by a field of suspiciously placed snow mounds. The puppeteer tries to navigate around them. but Shemp, being a dog, can't resist sniffing at one of the mounds. A geyser of boiling water shoots out, sending them both scrambling. Nearby, Sanford Scotch is trudging through the snow, shivering. He spots a flask sticking out of the snow and greedily grabs it, hoping for a drink. As soon as he uncaps it, a cloud of gas bursts forth. He coughs and staggers away, narrowly avoiding a snowdrift trap that collapses, revealing a hidden spike pit. In the jungle zone, Barbutia Lafranc is stalking through the jungle, moving carefully as she spots several tripwires. She notices one leading towards a tree with a conspicuous red fruit hanging from it. She avoids it and keeps moving, knowing it's a trap. However, Cynthia Shines, guided by her demon, isn't so lucky. She accidentally triggers a dart trap hidden in the foliage. A series of poison darts shoot out at her, but the demon warns her just in time. She dodges most of them, but one grazes her shoulder. Her demon mutters dark incantations neutralizing the poison, but the pain lingers. Furious, she decides to head towards the volcano to regroup and recover. Cheeto Charlie, weakened but still cunning, slinks through the jungle, munching on a handful of explosive Cheetos he found. He triggers a trap that releases a net from the treetops. He barely manages to wriggle free, his cheesy coating helping him slip out. He chuckles, but his mirth is cut short when a monkey pelts him with rocks, one of which is rigged with an explosive. It goes off, sending Charlie sprawling. Notable deaths of Day 3. Martha Teeny suffering from severe alcohol... Wait, I thought Martha Teeny already died. Did she die in, like, Day 1? Yeah, Martha Teeny's dead already. Fuck. Martha Teeny, suffering from severe alcohol withdrawal, stumbles blindly into the forest zone. Her senses dulled and body shaking. She doesn't notice the ground shifting beneath her. She steps into a camouflaged bear trap that snaps shut with a sickening crunch. Her scream pierces the forest air, but she succumbs to her injuries, the light fading from her eyes. Shemp Barksley's puppeteer, distracted by the icy geysers, doesn't notice a hidden spring-loaded blade trap concealed in the snow. As he steps forward, the blade slices through his leg, severing an artery. He collapses, bleeding out in the freezing cold. The Chihuahua, now freed from the puppeteer's control, barks in panic before scampering off into the wilderness. Disoriented, but alive. I'm gonna count that as Shemp dying. So Shemp's out of the game. As night falls on the third day, the announcement blares again. 2 contestants eliminated today. Rest well, survivors, for the trap fiesta has only just begun. The remaining players find shelter, wary of the new traps littering their surroundings. The mass debate is becoming more treacherous by the hour, and only the cunning and the cautious stand a chance of making it through to the end. Alright, new event. Let's see it. Oh boy. As the day starts, an announcement is made to all players that the radius of the arena will shrink by 1/4 of its size within the next couple of hours. It's the 4th day now. Couple of horse. What the hell is that? Alrighty. This is the 4th day, right? Because this was the 3rd day. Yeah. Alright, we're on the 4th day. Do what you're gonna do. Come on. At the break of the 4th day, the exhausted players are jolted awake by an ominous announcement blaring across the entire arena. Good morning, participants. Today the arena will undergo a major change. Over the next few hours, the radius of your playing field will shrink by 1/4 of its current size. You have limited time to relocate to safer ground. Those who fail to move to new safe zones will be caught in the shrinking border, where survival is unlikely. Happy hunting! The announcement is followed by the booming sounds of mechanical gears grinding beneath the ground as the entire perimeter begins to visibly close in. The pressure is on for the surviving contestants to scramble and reposition themselves, moving closer toward the central forest zone, where the newly designated safe area will likely be. The fear of the shrinking borders ignites a frantic and deadly scramble. Desert zone. Lester Truth, still partially blinded without his glasses, feels the rumbling of the shrinking perimeter. He knows that the vast desert zone will soon be enveloped by the deadly encroaching wall. He fumbles his way through the mine tunnels, desperate to find an exit. As he climbs out of the mine shaft, he encounters Sanford Scotch, who is huffing and puffing his way from the lower levels of the desert. Sanford, seeing Lester in a vulnerable state, considers attacking him, but the rumbling intensifies and the sight of the approaching wall makes him think twice. Instead, they wordlessly agree to a temporary truce and sprint towards the central force zone together, knowing they might just escape to face certain death. In the deadly, dilapidated rust zone, Puggy is trudging through the rubble, puffing on her cigar. When she notices the towering wall rapidly closing in, her pug instincts kick in and she begins a frantic run on all fours, wheezing and snorting. At the same time, Popcorn Thompson is still reeling from the traps he set off the previous day. He's crawling out from under the wreckage of an old vehicle when he hears the terrifying sound of the metal wall grinding towards him. He tries to get up, but slips on his buttery coating and falls flat on his face. Puggy, seeing this, decides to lend a hand, or rather a paw. She barrels into him, helping him push him forward, the two unlikely allies scrambling to escape the encroaching border. As they run together, a rusted truck engine near them explodes due to the increasing pressure, sending shrapnel flying. Puggy's thick skin takes most of the blow, but Popcorn Thompson is injured by a piece of shrapnel embedding in his shoulder. They barely make it out of the rust zone alive, both panting heavily as they crossed into the forest zone. Cheeto Charlie, hiding in the foliage, feels the heat rising as the shrinking wall pushes against the volcano's edge. The jungle is transforming into a pressure cooker, with steam vents hissing and the volcanic activity increasing. Charlie scrambles through the jungle using his weakened powers to sense the best escape route. As he stumbles through the thick vegetation, he encounters Cynthia Shines. Her demon, whispering warnings in her ear, guides her through the treacherous path. Cynthia, still bitter from her injuries and wary of the Dark God, raises her hands, channeling a dark spell aimed at Cheeto Charlie. Charlie, sensing the attack, ducks behind a tree, the spell scorching the bark. Cynthia grins wickedly, her confidence bolstered by the approaching wall, trapping her foe. However, as the wall closes in, the earth quakes, causing a fissure to split open between them. Charlie takes this moment to flee towards the forest zone, leaving Cynthia screaming curses after him. Wrinkly Dick, meditating in the snow, this is in the winter zone. Wrinkly Dick, meditating in the snow, hears the sound of the wall grinding closer. The spirits of the damned whisper frantically, urging him to move. He rises slowly, using his walking stick for support, and begins to journey down the icy mountain. He has a walking stick now. Nice for him. Where's the music? There we go. And begins his journey down the icy mountain. As he navigates the treacherous terrain, he spots Shemp Barksley, the free Chihuahua, running frantically. The little dog is barking in panic as the wall looms closer. Wrinkly Dick, feeling a twisted sense of empathy, scoops up the Chihuahua, placing him on his shoulder. Together they navigate through the snowy landscape, narrowly avoiding traps and sliding rocks as they make their way towards the central safe zone. Central Force Zone, the Cornucopia. The Dark Jork, having spent the night fortifying her makeshift lab, emerges from her shadowy lair, sensing the chaos in the air. She spots several contestants converging towards the forest, drawn together by the shrinking radius. Arthur Bamboozler, the sad clown, arrives first. He spots Jork and approaches cautiously. his huge nose twitching as he senses danger. Jork, preoccupied with her gadgets, doesn't notice Arthur until it's too late. The clown, driven by hunger and desperation, lunges at her with a primal scream. Jork, startled, whips out a laser pointer she had rigged together. She points it at Arthur's face, and the blinding light stuns him momentarily. He stumbles back, rubbing his eyes, giving her the opportunity to escape deeper into the forest. Barbutia Lafranc arrives soon after, smelling as terrible as ever. She sees Arthur, still dazed, and simply scoffs before moving on. She knows the forest is now the safest place, but with so many players gathering, it's about to become a battlefield. Notable deaths of Day 4. As the walls finally close in, Martha Teeny's body, left in the forest, is crushed by the shrinking wall, leaving no trace behind. The puppeteer of Shemp Barksley, who had died on Day 3, is also caught in the closing wall, eliminating any chance of the body being found. So, again, no new deaths, really. The remaining contestants converge in the central forest zone, weary and exhausted. The shrunken radius forces them into closer proximity, setting the stage for inevitable confrontations as night falls. The mass debate enters its most dangerous phase yet, with the arena now condensed and tensions at their peak. Just to be clear, the radius is more of an abstract circle that causes the players' bomb collars to explode if they cross it. And there's something else I wanted to tell it. And let's see, yeah. And even though, yeah, the radius closed in a little bit, the other zones are still accessible, just not as much of them. Alright, that being said, Day 5 begins. Alright, what's our random event? Looks like we're getting a tornado. A tornado has spawned in the arena and will move out randomly throughout the day. There we go. All right. Day 5, the tornado. Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go. It always brings up the same, like, dead people as, like, the notable dead of that day, even though they died on a previous day. Day 5, the tornado. The dawn of Day 5 brings with it a new twist of terror. A thunderous roar echoes through the sky as a massive tornado materializes on the horizon. The players glance up, witnessing the swirling vortex of debris ripping through the arena. The tornado is a wild force of nature, unpredictable in its path, threatening to tear through any zone at random. The players know they must be extra cautious today, not only of each other, but of the deadly twister looming over them. A crackling voice over the loudspeaker announces, "Attention contestants, a tornado has formed in the arena. It will roam unpredictably throughout the day. Stay on your toes, and may the odds be ever in your..." Oh, now it's just literally quoting the Hunger Games. Central Forest Zone. Arthur Bamboozler and Barbutia Lafranc find themselves at opposite ends of the cornucopia. Arthur, still shaken from the previous day's encounter with the Dark Jork, scours the area for supplies when he hears the roaring of wind approaching. His huge nose picks up the scent of dirt and debris, kicked up by the tornado. He spots the twisting funnel in the distance, making its way through the forest zone. Barbutia, with her powerful stench masking her own fear, yells to Arthur across the cornucopia, "You smell worse than me, clown. This wind's going to rip you away first." The clown shoots her a tired, melancholic smile, but starts moving towards cover nonetheless. The dark jork, always one to capitalize on distractions, uses the chaos of the approaching tornado to sneak back into the cornucopia and raid some of the supplies left behind. She grins in the shadows, whispering to herself, "Another Jorkin opportunity," before darting away. Yeah. Cheeto Charlie is creeping through the dense foliage of the jungle, still licking his wounds from his encounter with Cynthia Shines. And let me see something here real quick. Cheeto Charlie is creeping through the dense foliage of the jungle, still licking his wounds from his encounter with Cynthia Shines. The Demon Whisperer herself is not far behind, unknowingly tailing the Dark God. The low rumble of the tornado shifts through the jungle, its gusts causing the tall trees to sway violently. Cynthia halts, sensing the demonic energies in the air mixing with the chaotic wind. Her demon warns her of the impending tornado, and she whispers, "We must use this chaos to our advantage." Suddenly, the trees start snapping and the tornado roars into the jungle zone, ripping through the canopy. Cheeto Charlie, caught off guard, tries to dive for cover, but the intense winds send him tumbling into a ravine. His Cheeto body gets scraped and battered as he bashes against rocks, leaving a trail of cheesy dust behind. Cynthia, taking cover behind a boulder, watches the god's plight. She considers attacking, but decides to conserve her strength. "The wind does my work for me today," she mutters, retreating deeper into the jungle. The Desert Zone. Lester Truth and Sanford Scotch have made it to the edge of the desert zone, having formed an uneasy alliance. As the tornado's shrieking becomes audible, the pair look up to see the deadly funnel cloud making its way towards them. Sanford, sweat dripping from his hairy face, groans, "We gotta move, man. This is Bigfoot-level nonsense." Lester, surprisingly calm, adjusts his glasses. "We need to use the mines. It's our best shot at shelter." They descend into the dark, winding tunnels, but the storm is faster than they anticipated. The tornado tears into the desert, pulling up sand and creating a blinding storm above ground. The sheer force causes a cave-in at the entrance of the mine shaft, sealing them inside. The two men cough and squint in the dark, now trapped underground. Sanford clutches his furry suit, murmuring, "We're gonna be stuck in here for hours." Lester smirks, "Better than being out there. Now we just wait it out." In the winter zone, Wrinkly Dick, carrying Shemp Barksley, trudges down the icy slopes, still heading towards the central zone. The old man's spirit guides warn him of oncoming disaster. He looks up just in time to see the tornado ripping through the tundra, pulling up snow and ice in its wake. He mutters, "The spirits have been generous with their warnings. Let's get moving, little dog." Shemp, ears flattened in fear, yips in agreement. They sprint down the mountain, narrowly dodging a blast of icy wind that nearly throws them off their feet. In the rust zone, Puggy and Popcorn Thompson, having formed a surprising camaraderie, are attempting to navigate the treacherous landscape of the rust zone when the tornado reaches the area. The wind sends old metal sheets and debris flying like deadly shrapnel. Popcorn, his buttery sweat making him slip and slide, tries to duck behind an old car frame. Puggy, panting and hacking up a pug egg, dives behind him just in time. A massive gust sends a spinning fan blade straight into the car they're hiding behind, slicing it in half. Popcorn's eyes widen in terror, but Puggy just lets out a snort, her cigar still miraculously clutched in her teeth. "This zone is a death trap," she barks. They both scramble to find better cover as the tornado wreaks havoc. Notable deaths of Day 5. Shemp Barksley, the tornado, after leaving the tundra, swoops down unexpectedly and catches Shemp off guard. The tiny chihuahua is sucked into the air, the puppeteer's corpse already long gone. The dog yips frantically before being carried away into the sky, disappearing from sight. A distant explosion follows, signaling Shemp's collar detonating far beyond the radius. Popcorn Thompson, as the tornado tears through the rust zone, a flying piece of shrapnel pierces his side. Bleeding out and terrified, he tries to drag himself away, but the tornado circles back. The force pulls him up into the air, his buttery, slippery form unable to find any grip. He is carried off and violently slammed into a giant rusted fan, his body torn apart. The remaining players, bruised and battered, take stock of their surroundings as the tornado begins to dissipate, leaving a path of destruction in its wake. The mass debate continues, and the day ends with the survivors eyeing each other warily as they regroup in the shrinking safe zones. So, we'll put that back into place there. Popcorn Thompson's out. Alright, what's the next day's event? Oh boy. Send out the clowns. It is now the start of day 6. A group of... How do you spell vicious? Vicious clowns have entered the arena, and they are killing anyone they don't find funny. Day 6, Attack of the Vicious Clowns. As the sun rises on the 6th day, an ominous announcement echoes throughout the arena. Attention all players, a new challenge has entered the mass debate. A band of vicious clowns has infiltrated the arena. They are armed, dangerous, and looking for a laugh. Fail to entertain them and they'll make you the punchline, permanently. The participants exchange uneasy glances. The environment has already been harsh, but now they face a threat of armed clowns who will decide their fates based purely on humor. These clowns are not like Arthur Bamboozler. They are twisted, cruel, and bloodthirsty, wielding a variety of deadly circus-themed weapons. Mallets, seltzer bottles filled with acid, and razor-edged juggling pins. The players immediately realize they must tread carefully. Being unfunny today is as good as a death sentence. In the forest zone, Arthur Bamboozler finds himself wandering back into the central forest, still licking his wounds from the earlier days. He sees the approaching clowns, painted faces contorted into sneers, bright red noses honking ominously. They spot Arthur and their leader, a tall, lanky clown with blood-red hair named Giggles, points at him and shouts, "Make us laugh, funny man, or you're dead." Arthur, knowing he's their best bet at surviving, takes a deep breath. He launches into an impromptu juggling act using fallen pine cones, honking his nose and doing a pratfall. The clowns watch intently, their eyes narrowing, after what feels like an eternity. Giggles cracks a smile and lets out a shrill laugh. "You're lucky, clown. That was funny, but not that funny." The clowns leave Arthur with a warning, deciding he's amusing enough to live for now. As they move on, Arthur collapses, letting out a sigh of relief. "That was close," he mutters. In the winter zone, Lester Truth and Sanford Scotch have made their way out of the mines and find themselves trekking through the icy tundra when they encounter a group of the killer clowns. The clowns look them over and snarl, "Well, Nerd and Sasquatch, make us laugh, or we'll be pulling a disappearing act on you." Lester, ever the contrarian, tries to explain his flat earth theory, hoping the absurdity of it will be funny. He gestures dramatically at the horizon. "You see, the earth is flat as a pancake, just like your brains, clearly." The clowns don't laugh. Instead, one of them pulls out a seltzer bottle filled with acid, aiming it at Lester's face. Just before the spray hits, Sanford steps forward, doing his best impression of a slapstick comedian. He trips over his own feet, crashing into Lester and sending both of them sprawling into the snow. The clowns burst into laughter at the spectacle. Alright, you bozos can live another day, but next time you better come prepared with better material. As the clowns wander off, Lester shivers in the snow, grumbling. You saved us both, but that was humiliating. Sanford shrugs. Better embarrassed than dead. In the jungle zone, Cynthia Shines hides in the dense undergrowth, sensing the dark energy from the killer clowns approaching. Her demon whispers they are coming. They smell blood and fear. You must appease them or unleash me upon them. Cynthia steps out of hiding just as the clowns close in. They look her up and down, snickering. Blind and bald, let's see if you can tickle our funny bones. Cynthia raises her hand, calling upon her demon. Shadows swirl around her, and she begins to contort her body in a grotesque mimicry of clownish movements. Her demon forcing her into an unnatural, eerie dance that looks both painful and hilarious. The clowns laugh, but it's an uneasy, disturbed kind of laughter. They back away, unnerved by the dark forces at play. That's enough, freak. We get it. You're funny in a creepy way. We'll leave you be, for now. The clowns move on, leaving Cynthia to collapse, exhausted but alive. The Rust Zone. Puggy, covered in dirt and rust, encounters a trio of clowns near a crumbling factory. They immediately start taunting her. Half pug, half woman, what a joke! Make us laugh, ugly. Pugly, clutching her smuggled cigar, growls before hacking up one of her infamous pug eggs. She spits it onto the ground where it rolls to the clown's feet. One of them picks it up, staring at the slimy, gross egg in confusion. Puggy then wheezes out, "That's my breakfast, and it looks better than you, clown." The clowns burst into laughter, and her sheer laughter at her sheer audacity. "You've got guts, pug lady. We like you. You can live." They laugh and they leave, one of them pocketing the pug egg as a souvenir. The Desert Zone. Wrinkly Dick and Gamer Johansson find themselves face to face with a gang of clowns near the entrance of the mines. The clowns leer at them, demanding a joke or a performance. Gamer, thinking quickly, yells, "Who's ready for a speed run?" The clowns look confused but intrigued. Gamer starts sprinting in circles around Wrinkly Dick, flailing his arms wildly like a toddler on a sugar rush. Wrinkly Dick, catching on, starts doing his old man dance, complete with the spear-wielded pyrotechnics. The combination is so bizarre and ridiculous that the clowns can't help but laugh. Alright, you weirdos win this round," the lead clown cackles. "But remember, if we don't laugh next time, it's game over for you." The clowns saunter off, still chuckling at the absurd duo. The Jungle Zone Part 2. Cheeto Charlie, weakened and hiding, isn't as lucky. A smaller group of clowns finds him cowering near the volcano. They demand he perform, but his weakened state leaves him unable to muster any humor. "Please, I just need time to regain my strength," he pleads. The clowns exchange glances unimpressed. No jokes? No laughs? Then you're no good to us. One of them hurls a deadly juggling pin at Cheeto Charlie, piercing his crunchy exterior. As he crumbles to the ground, his cheesy form deflates. The clowns cheer, making their first kill of the day. Cheeto Charlie is the first to fall today, his essence shattered like cheesy dust in the wind. Notable deaths of Day 6. Cheeto Charlie unable to perform for the vicious clowns. His weakened state makes him an easy target. They kill him without hesitation, marking him as the first victim of the day. The rest of the players breathe a sigh of relief as the clowns, having had their fill of entertainment, slowly disperse throughout the arena. The day ends with the remaining contestants nervously licking their wounds, knowing that each new day brings a different horror. The mass debate grinds on, and the fight for survival intensifies. So Cheeto Charlie's out. Alright. And with that, I'm going to take a quick 10-minute break or so, and I'll be right back then to continue with more mass debate. See you all soon. Ready, and I return. That's right, so Cheeto Charlie is now dead. Let's see what our event of day 7 is. It's the dawn of day 7. Overhead, all of the... Let me make sure. Is my mic on? Yep. All of the players can see items being dropped into... How about care packages? Or, nah. Large crates being dropped into the environment. What they don't know is that all of the crates are empty. They may seek them out in hope of supplies, but will sadly find nothing. Why is it not entering? What the heck? Oh, did I do something wrong? No. Let me refresh this. Something's up. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Something's up with ChatGPT. What's going on, ChatGPT? Oh no. Not on the day of my stream, ChatGPT just won't load. Oh, what have I done to deserve this? Terrible. Absolutely terrible. There it goes. Alright, hold on. It's coming back slowly. Come on, you can do it. Bizarre. What is going on with it? Well, if I can't get it to load here in the next few minutes, I guess I could just go straight over to the drawing segment. Yeah, I guess. I don't see it loading up. That's unfortunate. Oh, wait, hold on. Nope, it's coming back. Alright, I'm just gonna move on to the drawing segment. Sorry I couldn't finish it up, guys. But ChatGPT just will not load. So, in that case, what I'm gonna do... Let me close out the rest of this. I'm just gonna go back to working on sticker ideas that I started last time. So let me pull that up. Alright, let's go over to art. And we're back to draw mode. Let's see, let me grab my favorite pencil brush. And let me see if anyone else wants to come in. Alrighty. So this was going to be my Sunny running sticker. What do I got going on here? It's kind of... Oh, I see. That's more the dark line here kind of makes it look more forward than it is. Oh. Hold on now. Let me see something. Oh yeah, that's gonna be reloaded. Give me just a second. Let's see, there we go. Alright, now let's see how it does. Very nice. Alright. Let's see, what sort of expression should I give her for, like, jogging? Kind of like this. Like she's huffing and puffing. See a single sweat bead kind of pooling at the bottom of her bottom of her face there. You know what, I'm gonna give her like a different hairstyle for jogging that fits more like the jogging kind of mood.
There's a light inside your soul that's still shining in the cold with the truth, the promise in our hearts. Don't forget, I'm with you in the dark.
It's gonna be very similar to like her star pattern, but it's just gonna be more like jogger casual. Let's see. Continue watching. Alrighty. So let's move this over here and down here so I can get more space out of it. Maybe that's too much. More like that. Maybe, oh, maybe I should have it start up here. I wonder if I should leave her glasses actually almost blank like this, like you don't see her eyes. It's because you get the intensity of like her running. It's like she's focused, so her, you know, you don't see like, it's not like she's really looking at you. It's like she's caught up in the activity. I feel like her legs should be a little bit longer. Maybe I should give her proper running shoes too. It's kind of weird if she's like just running barefoot like this. There we go, just a little bit longer like that. It really goes a long way. Yep. Let's see. So I got a nice sunny wave. I got have a sunny day. Very nice. Got sunny jogging over here. Got a little chibi sunny. So these alone already kind of make up sort of the max amount of like stickers I could actually make. I should try for more. Just to see which designs I eventually want to settle on and go for. Let's stop again already. There we go. Mm. Let's soften that up a bit there. What the? That's the pencil erasing. Yep. I feel like the Chibi Sunny can use some adjustments just because I think her shoes are a little goopy. Or rather malapportioned proportioned to her. I think maybe this forward one's fine. Yeah, it's still really small. I wonder if I should have her hair kind of... It's like if it's just on the one side there, you know, it's very, like, heavy to one end. I wonder if I should have it, like, curve back around and sort of loop around to give some more unity to the design, some more balance. How do I feel about these? I say they're a little messy. Probably use some work. They kind of go through them very quickly. Phew. Oh, excuse me. Is that what that would look like? Just straight on like that. This one's a little heavier than the other one. Her eyes are looking a little funny here. Something's looking a little funny about this. Not quite sure what. Wrong way. Yeah. Let's try and make another sticker. Right there. Have it go a bit of a diagonal. The biggest sunny smile I can possibly conjure. Yeah, I want to do this right. Actually, maybe just a... I wonder, I think perhaps just an old-fashioned, just big U smile would be ideal for this. I think I'm going to keep this one very simple, very solid colors. Let's take the innards here, kind of move them over a bit. Center them like that. You know what? If I make her... Oh, that'd be funny. If I made her like an egg Sunny. like an egg just cooking on a skillet site. See, for this one though, I just want to do. Actually, which way is the text facing? Let's flip this one. I want to have just like some text circling around her like that. Alright. Sunny Egg, let's do it. Sunny Egg. Alrighty. Well, I'd say that's been a very lovely and productive stream today. Thank you all for stopping by and watching for the time you did. I will catch you all, let's say Wednesday next week. I'll see you all later. Peace out. Have a wonderful weekend.